agreed to, and I call the member for Hotham.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, and I'm very proud to be standing in the House today and defending family daycare from the savage cuts that have been implemented by this government. And I want to just start by saying how angry I am on behalf of my community, on behalf of the families who live in Hotham, for the $1 billion that we are seeing being cut to childcare supports in this country, and specifically $157 million that is going right to the heart of family daycare provision. Now, for those in the community or for those watching at home who don't know, family daycare is the provision of daycare that is in the setting of someone's family home. So it's usually a mum who's got children of their own who may have started school, and the mum takes in kids using her real vast experience in childcare and in early childhood education and looks after other people's children in that community. Now, you can imagine from what I've described that two of the most fantastic things about family daycare are, number one, the flexibility that mums can provide when they've got just a family home and a small number of kids to look after, and of course, Deputy Speaker, the affordability, which is so important to so many families around the country. Now, what this cut means, that is being implemented by the Coalition, is that for a family with a child in family daycare, they will see costs rise of somewhere around $1,200 to $1,800 a year, a serious amount of money, Deputy Speaker, and certainly a sum of money that is going to drive a lot of those families who are accessing family daycare to look for other cheaper alternatives. Deputy Speaker, I'm particularly passionate about family daycare because we've used family daycare in my family. I work odd hours as a Member of Parliament. My partner at the time was working shift work and we had a little baby. Now, Deputy Speaker, we use family daycare because of all these great benefits that make this such a great care option for so many families. We needed someone who would be able to look after our child a little bit out of hours. Our son at the time was very young and we really loved the idea of him being looked after by one carer in someone's family home. Now, it's for these reasons that there are thousands of families right across the country that are relying on family daycare to fit in with their needs. And what we're seeing today is that flexibility and that affordability being cut and being under attack by the cuts that are being executed here. Now, Deputy Speaker, it's pretty concerning because we're getting real mixed messages. This is certainly not the first issue we've seen it, but we're getting real mixed messages from this government. We see the minister going on television yesterday talking in very soothing tones about what he's planning to do on childcare, but at the same time what we see is cuts. The minister talks about the need for flexibility and affordability, yet what does he do? He makes a cut, $157 million, to the most flexible and the most affordable type of childcare in our system. Deputy Speaker, family daycare is good for families. We know that gone are the days where people had one person in the household working who worked 9 till 5 and the other person in the household was able to stay at home and look after kids. Families don't look like that in general very much anymore. What we see is people working very unusual hours. With the increasing casualisation across the workforce in Australia, lots of families are having to deal with situations where parents are working on the weekends or after what would be normal working hours. We also know that the majority of Australian families now do see both parents doing some level of work. Now, this is why we actually see a growing need in the community for flexible and affordable childcare, yet what do we see the government doing? Making cuts to the very type of childcare that people have a growing need for. Family daycare, Deputy Speaker, is great for Australian women. We know that there are lots of mums who want to go back to work once they've had their children, and we should be trying to help them to do that if that's what they want to do. Now, we know that today, under today's childcare settings, a mum who goes back to work on the minimum wage full-time will earn somewhere around $3.50 to $5 for every hour that she works, Deputy Speaker. Now, at the very same time, this cut is seeing the costs associated with going back to work increase. So effectively what we're doing is making it harder and harder for mums to go back to work when they want to do that. Deputy Speaker, this is absolutely moving in the wrong direction, and that's why we oppose it. Deputy Speaker, I want to make one final point. We hear rhetoric on the other side of the House that these people care about families. But what do we see in their actions? We see them cut the school kids bonus, cut out-of-hours care, cut the childcare rebate, cut the family tax benefit, try to put a new tax on going to the GP, and now $1 billion into cuts to childcare. They have lost the trust of the Australian community, and we do not trust them on these childcare cuts.
Gilmore.